Hello and welcome to the December 2020 edition of Flowering Creativity. This is the podcast where we explore the lives of creative people and provide practical tips for achieving and sustaining your creative lifestyle and goals. With me today, I have Aaron Quarterman Jr., or the Qman.
Yeah, that's right.
He's a 25-year-old saxophonist, a multi-instrumentalist. This guy plays flute, piccolo, clarinet, trumpet, flugelhorn, trombone, piano, from the Philly, PA area. Aaron earned Temple University grad in jazz studies and performance. The Qman has his own jazz trio quartet called the Qman Quartet. Last October 2019, Aaron debuted his first jazz album with the quartet called Funk Train. He has self-taught himself all of his instruments, including techniques he has learned on saxophone outside of school. Aaron Quarterman currently teaches private lessons, growing his YouTube channel, social media presence, and performing around the New Jersey, Pennsylvania area, whether it's with his bands, variations, with other bands, and of course solo performance. So, welcome today to Flowering Creativity. Aaron, how you doing today?
Hey, pleasure. Thanks for having me. I'm honored to be here.
Sorry for stumbling over your introduction a little bit here. I'm a little bit excited. It's so great to have you on.
It's all good. Yeah, I'm excited to be on here and talk about stuff for real.
So you inspired me. I choose people to come on this podcast that inspire me in one way or another. And the first time that I was really, really impressed with you particularly was when I saw this particular video of you playing the saxophone and the trumpet at the same time. And it just kind of like got me a little bit like, whoa, what's going on with this guy? He's kind of crazy. So...
Yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead and play this video for everybody here so that you can see who we're going to be talking to.
All right, let's see it.
too.
Yeah. Lucy.
Trading forces yourself, man.
Yeah.
That's cool angle there. I like that.
Yeah.
Really cool, man. I really
Thanks.
enjoyed that the first time I saw that.
Right. Yeah, I was just thinking like, because the original song had harmonies, and maybe I could try it. This was just like in basically one take before, because I had a show that night. This is one and done. So you know what, this is cool. It takes double the chops. I'll tell you that.
So I can't even begin to imagine. I mean, because I don't play trumpet, so how you could possibly have like half of your mouth buzzing and then like the other half of your mouth making that tenor saxophone embouchure. I seriously have no idea how you did that.
Yeah, well, first it took separate times. I had to deal with the trumpet every day, and knowing the amateur and saxophone, I've been playing for well over 15 years, and I got to know that. And so I just like, well, I play the trumpet with my right hand. A lot of experimentation, because my saxophone needs to be a certain resistance, and same my trumpet, so I had to find the best. It's crazy.
Yeah,
And
that's crazy.
first I looked it up. I was like, how is that possible? I want to see, because I learned the trumpet. It's like, oh, that's great. Too bad. And someone said, too bad you can't play at the same time. So it's saying. So I'm like, oh, well, let me try. Like, what the heck? And who inspired me to do that in the first place was Stan Roland Kirk, this blind saxophone player who played 3 saxophones at the same time. And I was like, whoa, that's cool.
Yeah, I
If
saw.
you
I
guys
saw the
don't know
2.
him, look him up.
I never saw the 3
Right.
saxophones.
Oh man, you gotta look him up, man. He's playing 3 saxophone, modified saxophones, but he made it work. He had a big mouth, and he circle breathed while doing that.
But like, you only got 2
I don't know how he
hands.
did.
The other
Right,
one's
right.
just basically
Well, he
like a
plays. I
didgeridoo.
think he kind of figure around. Right, one's in the middle. It's a crazy sight. It's a crazy sight on YouTube, and it's crazy. So I'm like, well, okay. And then I want to see, like, well, what happens if I play 2 drastically different horns? And I tried it, and it worked. First, it's hard. It's very hard to take the intonation into consideration, and I just a lot of experimenting and like, okay, what makes the trumpet play higher, lower, and So, and of course, it's having a great ear helps, and just like, okay, I gotta make this musical as possible, and it worked out.
Well, playing the saxophone is tricky to tune just by itself. I mean, like this old joke, right, about Santa Claus and the in-tune saxophone. They just don't exist, right? So,
Right.
like, I mean, but besides that point, because I can understand, you could be like, oh, having a tuning fork, and your saxophone was a little bit sharp on that. No, come on, that's really cool, man.
This is my mindset about that tuning. Like, you just gotta play in tune. You're always gonna be a little off, and because intonation interferes with that. You just gotta play in tune, match with the song that you're playing. That's
The,
it.
the beauty of
You
the
know.
saxophone, at least one of the major beauties of the saxophone, is that it's so easy to, alter the
Yes.
pitch with your embouchure, and so you can do all
Right.
kinds of crazy. I mean, I can bend down as much as like a whole step with my embouchure,
Right.
you know?
Right. And like saxophone is so much more casual than the trumpet.
Oh,
I say for my 2 years of playing trumpet, you gotta practice it at least every day, every other day. Otherwise, you'll sound terrible.
you did some cool glissandos. I heard that one, and it was like, wow, really
Yeah.
cool vocal. It sounded
There's
good.
there's some similarities like false fingerings on a saxophone. You could do that on the trumpet too, you know. But it's basically like altissimo on the saxophone, the trumpet. You're playing the harmonics, but you're only doing 3 buttons, and it's almost like playing the palm keys on the saxophone because each button has harmonics to it. But yeah, I just found that very interesting, and it like challenges me coordination. Like I have to think, okay, what note am I playing here? What note I'm playing here on my left hand?
Yeah, and you're so
And
limited on what notes you can play with the saxophone with only
yes,
the one
I,
hand.
I got only have an octave or so, but with the right practice, you can have a little bit more. But yeah, surprisingly, I had to like to experiment, like how much pressure am I pushing the trumpet in, or how much mouthpiece am I using, and yeah. But hey, it works out. You gotta be different out here, and yeah.
So you spend a lot of time practicing to play all those instruments out. I mean, like I said, I've seen videos of you doing the flugelhorn, the trumpet, the trombone, pretty much all the band instruments. At least I haven't seen you do like tuba or anything crazy like that,
No,
but
no, no, that's too
nothing
big.
huge. And one of the
Right.
things I really liked was your recent video on the flute where you were doing some of the vocal stuff, like I
Right.
heard in Jethro Tull. How do you find time to practice all these instruments and all these crazy techniques?
Well, it's all started from one. So, believe it or not, I didn't have to work as hard because I was so curious with the saxophone extended techniques with multiphonics, circular breathing, slap tonguing, um, altissimo, extreme registers. I just love the high register since got into saxophone. But yeah, all that really translated, and all it took was just listening to the players I liked, and I don't know. Luckily, I'm not. I have supportive parents, so I had a lot of time on my hands to do that, and especially majoring in music. When I wasn't practicing repertoire for music jury test, for jazz studies, I was just half the time I was um, teaching techniques, extended techniques. I was really into that kind of stuff all my music life. So that's how I really got into all that. It started with the woodwinds at Temple, um, because you just play saxophone. I see all these pit orchestra people playing on doubles,
Mm-hmm.
flute, clarinet, and I just got so into it. I was like, dang. And I guess how I got into the Ian Anderson technique was, I think this one guy was doing it in Philadelphia, this venue called Chris's Jazz Cafe. He played Barry
Mm-hmm.
sax and flute.
Mm-hmm.
Dennis de Blasio played with the Manuel Ferguson band, and I was just like, "Whoa!" He was just doing all this fancy stuff. He was playing harmonies, and so I
Mm-hmm.
need to do it. It's kind of like scatting / playing the flute. And I was like, "That's so me," because I'm kind of uncomfortable with singing, and that's kind of a cool thing to do. And it had this percussive effect, so I don't know. It just kind of came to me real quick because I just love music, and I love the flute. Because every instrument I have, I love it. I love it very much. you
Mm-hmm.
know. And I think because I came with that mindset, that's why I just learned really quick, in the span of 3 years, believe it or not. 2017, start on clarinet. So let me get a clarinet and let me play flute. Okay. And then I went to this, let me see, Mary Anderson Society having this musical. I was a part of that group, and I just played saxophone at the time. And
Mm-hmm.
But over the summer, I picked up, this was like in the middle of July, flute and clarinet, and I was decent at it. And they said, oh, great. So, and then first thing you know, I was playing flute and piccolo parts. I had to get a piccolo. And it was crazy. I had to learn fast, because it was classical situation, and saxophone's not in classical that much, which is a shame because alto could really play classical.
Oh, yeah, it sounds
But
great.
I had to learn fast to read music, and luckily I was dabbling in piano at the time, so I learned how to read music in concert key, which that was tough. And yeah, it's
So
just
you're just reading you're just reading the score in concert key, but on whatever instrument it is.
right.
That's cool.
And it all started with me having discovering that I had perfect pitch. So at first I didn't know. I had this very, I guess, jealous high school teacher who said, no, you don't have perfect pitch. And, he had his favorites, and I had to struggle with that throughout all high school. And, kind of realizing that he purposely didn't tell me about these bands I can audition for. And I had to kind of be on my own. I started in community college and said, do I want to do music? And I decided to, because I knew that's what I want to do for the rest of my life. And then not until this ear training class with this brilliant professor from Juilliard, Edward Fernandad, he told me, oh, you have perfect pitch because, I was decent at solfege, but I still got the notes down better than anyone else. It's like, wow, it's spot on. And, and then he just asked me, boom, what chord is this? And I said, oh, that's the C major arm. Let me see. Yeah, C major chord. And he said, yes. But my problem was my tenor key. I did the tenor key. So I was really B flat. So I had to train my ears. Okay, now I have to kind of say, okay, it's that chord, half step. I had to kind of train myself so I can say the correct key in the piano key. So.
Wow. Yeah. See, I never thought about that. I mean,
Right.
like, I'm not a perfect pitcher. I'm just an extremely good relative pitcher because I was immersed in solfege from a very young age. I was very grateful for that opportunity, and so to me, when I was in high school and college, and we were doing interval training and stuff, it just came second nature to me, but not because of perfect pitch. So like, I could transfer stuff from guitar to saxophone. And one of the things that I really like to do is tune my guitar down a whole step so that way it was in tenor saxophone key. So that way if I play a G on the guitar, I'll play it a G on my saxophone. I love that. You could do the same thing on the piano, just by bringing it down a couple half steps.
Right, the transpose function, right.
Oh, those are great.
Right. So yeah, and that's the thing. I had to learn music theory because I can hear the notes, but how was I going to translate it so people can understand? Or so I had to really dive into music theory and say, okay, this is learning about harmony and writing down versions, all that stuff. And obviously the piano helped me with that, and it was a tough journey. I had to stay an extra year at community college because I could not understand music theory. And luckily I had, because and now tempo has skyrocketed it, and I made advanced ear training and transcribing, because you need good ear training. It's really like I learned to use both, because perfect pitches sometimes kind of hinders you from listening and just enjoying it instead of analyzing the notes. But okay, well, how about bigger picture? Like, is it 1 to a 4 chord, or things like that really helped me. And I tend to use my relative pitch music education more than my perfect pitch in order for me to really compose and understand what the music is.
So do you songwrite as well, or are you mainly just a jazz guy?
I do. I'm starting to songwrite. I've wrote a lot of originals that haven't even released yet, and so I'm working on some projects, a second album, besides my Funk Train album. And this time, the second album will be all originals and stuff like that. So I'm excited to get to it.
That's cool. Yeah. One of the things that I've learned, at least for when it comes to singles, that I tend to do better if I don't tell people it's an original. Like, I don't, obviously, you can't call it a cover because it's not. So you just it's this song. And then people are like, oh, who did that? Who did that? And that's an incredible compliment. If you can write a song when they're, after hearing it one time, and they're like, wow, you know, I've heard this before. Somebody famous did this. You're like, no, dude, I wrote this song. They're like, what?
Right. You know, and that's the reaction I got when I played my original Funk Train. You know, I was like, whoa, that sounds. Who's that by? James Brown? It's like, no, it's by me. So,
That's
you know, it's a
awesome.
good feeling, and that inspired me to make more original content and stuff. But I love playing covers, and because it's like your own rendition, and sometimes people can't tell. It's like, whoa, I like that better than the original, and that to me, that's worth it right there. You know?
Hey, you're so young, man. You got so many years ahead of you for seasoning and all this. You know, I'm really excited to see, you know, what you sound like in 10, 20 years. It's really it's going to be cool, man. Keep it up. So
Appreciate it. Yeah.
let's kind of shift gears a little bit. We touched on a lot of the custom questions. I want to kind of get back to the meat and potatoes of flowering creativity because you know
All right.
we are knee deep in the second wave of this coronavirus pandemic, and I mean it is freaking nuts.
Tell me about it.
Around here where I'm at, you know, there's a second shutdown that's not like it's not like mandatory. It's like, oh well, we're
Right.
really kind of recommending that you stay home, and like we can give you a ticket if you don't have a good explanation about why you're out. Oh man,
Right.
how has this pandemic affected your life and your creativity?
Well, as far as my life, it's kind of been interesting. I mean, obviously live performances, of I was in a lot of corporate bands, for example. I was in a lot of wedding bands, other bands, and you know, I was making a lot of income from that. And teaching in person is definitely taken away from that. And I was just in shock because like, what? Like all my lineup gigs all year, like literally disappeared like that. And you know, I started to realize it wasn't just about me; it was about everyone. Even the famous people, the discovered big shots, they lost their steady income jobs too. And it's like, whoa, this is not normal. Like, what's going on? And but at the same time, creativity wise, I was forced to be by myself. I was forced to think on my own. You know, I'm used to being in other bands, but this time I got to actually breathe. You know, I felt like I was swamped with a lot of projects, other people's projects, but not my own. And actually, all this quarantine it actually helped me develop even more originals and touch on social media, like post a lot more on YouTube. And because I realized social media, it's really like this is your portfolio. You know, people will judge you off of what you post online. That's
Mhm.
it. You know, if you don't have it taped, well, no one knows how good you are. No one knows you can play the piano, Aaron. You know, it's like until you post it, how good are you at jazz? You know, oh, you can play a Justin Bieber cover. Well, I don't see it. You know, it's
Mhm.
now online. So I realized how important it was, and I had to force myself to like, you know, spice up my editing skills, and I really learned a lot during these 9 months or so. So it feels like
Mhm.
forever, but it's definitely like changed me and matured me, and now I'm doing my own lessons online, and that's really helped. You know,
Yeah, I mean, I never would have imagined that I would be doing a YouTube podcast, you know, a year ago. Like this is totally because of the pandemic, you know. It's like I needed
right?
something to do and a way to, you know, network really awesome creative people and like share these messages because,
Hmm.
you know, when we're stuck at home with hours and hours on end, I mean, sure we can, you know, just drink beer and watch TV all day or just sit there and be on our phone. So one of the things that I've had to do to cope with this is develop a daily routine. And you know, for me, um, that definitely involves jogging, getting some physical activity and some fresh air outside.
Right.
Do you have a routine that you do that you feel like helps you stay creative and
Oh
flowing?
yes. Thanks to my brother, you know, I actually I lost a great amount of weight, um, about 120 pounds, thanks to
Wow.
my brother mainly. And basically, what that was basketball. Basketball is like my escape. It's like my other form of expression. I'm able to express myself. Playing ball doesn't even feel like cardio. It's fun. So that's one of my daily routines. I go to the gym with my brother, or mainly before the first lockdown. Like it was mainly outside, so we played basketball outside a lot. the high school track, local high school track, and just getting in shape like that, and like dumbbell workouts, body workouts, a lot of body workouts because the gyms were closed at the time. Luckily, some gyms in my area are open. I'm able to do that, and so yeah, I just really had, but it made me like really closer to nature and like away from all the guck and social media aspect of things, and you need that. It's really made me balanced, more balanced than I was before COVID happened. You know.
The social media, including YouTube, has been really on the rise, especially since the pandemic, and it's been giving channels like ours a chance to grow really fast because a lot of people have time to sit around and watch.
Yeah, it is nuts. I mean, think about a dog barking, on to a baby goes viral, versus that, you know. It's definitely, that's, I always think about that. It's like, dang, why them, And it's like, I don't know, I just learned to just go with the flow of things and just do what you love, Like, don't worry about that stuff. Sometimes it's the balance because you don't want to completely sell out, and leave your passion behind. Just, but sometimes you do gotta do what you gotta do. You gotta do the reaction videos, you can, but then you can use that to grow your following. That's what I'm thinking about, and then after that, you can dive into your saxophone playing. And that to me it works because bam, now you had the following, and they'll watch whatever you post at that point because
I mean,
you have an engagement.
Mhm. I spent like, I don't even know, at least 40 hours editing a lyric video for my rock opera. It's a
Oh,
full 2 hours, 2 album rock opera,
wow.
and I made a lyric video for it. And so you can just imagine all those hours sitting at the computer. I mean, this is my passion. I love
Right.
this album. I love this music. I want people to hear it. And I haven't been able to make a video for it because I didn't record any video or even snapshots of myself recording it, producing it, any of that. So, but that wasn't playing my instruments. That, I mean, it was coming from my
Yeah.
heart because I wanted it, but I mean, I was sitting there clicking the mouse and staring at the screen. I was just becoming a screen.
Right. It sucks because these days you have to be your own businessman, and sometimes it's aggravating.
You have to wear
At the
so many
time, yes, like
hats.
you said, you are posting more than you're playing when you're practicing, enjoying the actual craft of music.
Hmm.
Instead you're being some kind of host agent, booking agent kind of. It's just like it's a lot of work.
Hmm. Yeah, but if you
And
don't, then
it is
you got to pay
frustrating.
somebody else to do that shit for you. So you got, I mean,
Right.
like seriously,
Uh,
if you're gonna be your own musician, right, your own solo artist, and have your own band that you book as a trio, as a quartet, as a duo, as a whatever the fuck you want, 8 piece, I got you covered. So you got to be a salesman, right, as well as a musician.
right.
And then while you're on
Mhm.
stage, you got to be the host, master of ceremonies, or somebody in the band has to be, so that the people
Right.
have fun, like more than just playing music. Because like one of the things about live music, we wanted to talk about the live music is the crowd engagement,
Right.
and that happens not just with the music performance itself, not just with the improvisation, but also with the interactive banter with the crowd, like with the as much as I hate them, the requests, the direct interaction between the
Right.
musician, the artist, and the crowd. Let's talk a little bit about that, man. I miss all it so much.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. Like, it's just it's irreplaceable. I see people on Facebook now, in the live streams, and that's cool, but nothing beats the real reaction, the energy.
Hmm.
You can't beat that energy that comes through when you're playing, and people feel that, and people clap. I miss definitely when I play jazz, for example, people clap in between a solo, and I don't get that, much anymore, with online live stream playing, so that's why I made my mission to call. Luckily, some venues were like, okay, yeah, you could play here outside. I had to play outside the most of my life.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
and but it's just crazy because now I'm forced to mostly do online concerts, and things are closing down in my area locally, Philly, and COVID restrictions. So it's kind of crazy out here, and yeah. you just got to stay positive and know why you're doing this,
Mhm.
and learn to adapt, because think about it, music changes like every time, like every year,
Mhm.
and in order to be relevant, music changes and you got to change and adapt. So that's
Yeah.
the bottom line.
Yeah, I find that a lot of times when I write music, it's ahead of its time. I mean, I'm really into progressive everything.
Right.
Progressive rock, progressive jazz, progressive metal, progressive anything that has progressive to it, I'm into it. Progressive classical, anything you could. And so, I'm just really into like for example, Pink Floyd, how they were just so far ahead of their time, like
Right. Right.
just phenomenally ahead of their time. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Um,
Right.
so, in order to get anything out, we got to deal with that specter of excuses, right? I don't feel like it today, man. Oh, it's cold outside, or, um,
Right. Right.
whatever. How do you deal with excuses on a daily basis?
How I deal with excuses, I need to jump on his throat. Like, I just hate procrastinating. I need to get it out the way. If I'm like, oh, I don't feel like it, I don't feel like working out. Well, I'll get out the way early in the morning, so it won't linger in my mind like, ooh, I didn't work out today. Instead, I just get it out the way. So then I feel accomplished. When I work out, I feel accomplished. And so I won't say, oh, I'm hungry though. I'm hungry in the middle, So no excuses like that. Or, oh, I need to get on this song to help lay horn tracks for this producer guy. And, it's just about setting time frames. Okay, I'm going to give myself an hour to do this, make as much progress as I can, then move on. You got to keep going and not get stuck in that rut and be like, and get distracted like, oops, where'd the time go? Oh, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it the next day. You
Mhm.
got to set a set schedule. You got to be strict with yourself. The more disciplined, the better. That's how I go.
Definitely. I appreciate that because, I mean, this is definitely a challenging time, and you know, let's
Right.
let's talk about specific challenges that have disrupted your creative flow.
Well, we kind of touched on like performing live. Like for me, performing live, it kind of motivates me, inspires me, seeing other people. And it's kind of like, for example, trumpet, you got to keep up for every day. And sometimes I kind of slack off, like, I don't feel like playing it. And it's like, who am I playing it for? Because sometimes I just kind of casually go to a jam session, those open mics, they're so
Hmm.
much fun.
Hmm.
And you just don't have that. You feel like during COVID, you can't show anybody your talent. And so that has kind of hindered me. And sometimes my chops slack off, or, oh, I don't feel like playing the saxophone because it's like, well, what am I doing it for? And everything's the concerts and all that. So, that's kind of like throwing me off a bit,
Yeah.
to be honest. Jamming is fun. It's like music's all about jamming and feeling the vibes. Like this past Sunday, I went to a blues jam session, and that was fun. Can't
Hmm.
go wrong with the blues, and it's just cool to just do that. And I actually have had like a virtual open mic, and that was really fun. Like it's like, wow, it is cool. And jam the drums. Because doing it by yourself, like with backing tracks, is not the same, and you need people. And so I'm glad there's technology today to let people interact. Because it's all about interaction, human interaction. And COVID's definitely taken away with that. It's gonna done a good job, but with this technology, I think we're gonna be unstoppable. So
Yeah. The lag delay can make it a little bit tricky. Um, you know,
yeah,
especially especially with the type of internet connection I have right now. I'm not even attempting to do a jam session online right now. Um,
right,
until I get a more stable connection where I'm using my modem or at least my router.
right.
All right, this is so much fun, man. So, like, how do you manage your stress?
My stress. Well, it depends what I'm stressed about. Like, for example, when I'm stressed about music, well, I do something else. I go for a walk. I just maybe close my eyes, and just closing my eyes just lets me clear my mind about things and just concentrate on breathing or concentrate thinking about nothing, you know. So what else? When I'm stressed about instrument, like, oh, I just hate myself playing, or I just feel like I'm in a rut. Sometimes I just kind of play piano a little bit, you know, kind of escape from what I'm doing, from that task. Or on the saxophone, I escape from what I'm doing. If I'm practicing my skills, I hate the skill, I go to another skill. Then go to the D skill, see how that is. And then before you know it, boom, I have it down pat. And so as far as that. And like as far as other stressors, like about this COVID crisis, I think about my family because of this, I'm closer to my family, and I just spend time talking and being happy, being grateful because you know I think that I'm in a much better place than a lot of other people, and you know just being alive in this time. You know, you just gotta be thankful. You know, because a lot of people unfortunately have passed because of this virus, and
Hmm.
you know, it's like I'm just thankful to be alive and breathing. You know,
Yeah, it's
people just need to simplify life a little bit, and it's like, yo, this is a phenomenon. This is a miracle. You know, so just thinking about that, it's like, whoa, you know, I'm still 25. I'm young. Just you know, list the positive things, and positivity always beats negativity. You know, and just changing the mindset. That's it's a powerful thing. And, you know, I've been reading more books than ever. You know, so
yeah. This is just such a crazy year, like, and I mean, I deal with this on a daily basis with my family. You know, it's got this really negative connotation to it. You know, it's like, oh, 2020 sucks kind of thing. And I mean, well, I mean, you know, to a lesser degree,
right,
other different years might have sucked. Like for me, you know, 2009 kind of sucked. I mean, whatever. But you know, we're Earth School. It's all about balance. And so, how do you know a good year if you don't have a bad year? And I mean, how do you know like the greatest year of your life if you don't know like the worst year of your life? So it's kind of like
right.
necessary at least. Anyway, this segues perfect into my next question. So, how do you deal with with people around you that are blocked creatively? They're in that negative mindset, right? They're seeing the glass half empty. They say that
Mhm.
2020 sucks, right? How do you stay creative when people around you are like that? Like, especially people close to you that you can't just, you know, like your wife, your brother, you can't just get away from them, you know? What do you do?
Right, right. Um, and, you know, sometimes long talks with them actually helps them for that moment, and or just realizing, looking outside of yourself. So why are they like this? And it kind of brings me to peace. Like my dad, he grew up in a different time, you know, so of course he's used to so much more normalcy, and you know he's seeing such a different perspective. Um, and you know he's not used to all this online stuff. That's why he's like a little grumpy. My dad's a principal, and he's like, oh, why I have to do all this Zoom stuff, and now I have to do these meetings, and you know, and just seeing that, it kind of brings me at more peace and like, okay, well, he's a totally different person than me, you know, and you know, he doesn't understand why people aren't on campus still. It's like, well, hello, it's you know, it's COVID, and I, you know, you just gotta deal with, you know, I just don't let them. They're different people, you know. So that's how I just go by it. They're individuals, individual thought, and I have my own thoughts.
Empathy.
Yeah,
Always
yeah,
trying to see things through other people's perspectives is a really really beautiful, valuable practice for everyone pretty much all the time, because like, you know,
right,
before you unload on that freaking cricket store clerk, right? Yeah, I mean, they didn't like
right,
mess up your account personally. I don't think they did. And you know, like, you don't know like what's going on in their life, you know what I mean? Like,
right. Just like negative YouTube comments, like, okay, right, who are they? Like, okay, you know, you gotta break it down. Like, okay, who are they? How much knowledge do they have in what I do? And that's that. It's okay. Well, they don't. It's like break it down trolls. That's it. It's like, okay. And just kind of laugh at, you know, and look at the positive. Hey, thanks for watching my video. you just gave me another view, you know. So I embrace all energies, and you just gotta take it for what it is and make it a positive. Turn negative to a positive. You know? I'm thankful that my parents have provided me a roof over my head. You know, my brother, he's annoying sometimes. He doesn't understand my musical perspective sometimes, and I don't understand his. He's more into basketball than I am, and it's like, and I just look at things like that, and it just brings me so much more peace. You know, it's like, oh, you know, why you sound like that on the saxophone? So, well, he doesn't play saxophone, so he doesn't know. It's just, you just explain it to him, and that's it. Yeah.
Right on. So, what advice would you offer to somebody that's still blocked at this point after everything we talked about so far?
They're still like negative and yeah.
Yeah, you know, like,
I mean, I would just say like, think about the now. Like, are you healthy? You know, like, you know, the little things add up to the bigger picture of, you know, what it is to be just alive. You know, like, it's like, you know, you're already successful now. You're happy now. You know, you don't need other things to make you happy. Like, is the world really that important, or is it being with your family right now important? You know, because your family's irreplaceable. That's what I think.
present moment's irreplaceable.
Right. Say, oh, I can't wait. I'll be happy when things are normal. Well, how about be happy now? What's wrong with that? You know, go out on the hike. You know, I see a lot of people on my Instagram go explore the mountains and explore, you know, and that's pretty cool. Like, because think about this, every decade things have just churned. Now this is the new normal. Now this is the new normal. 9/11, this is the new normal. Planes, and humans always change. We always change. We always evolve. So I think it's just destined. It's not necessarily a bad thing. You know.
Yeah, it's extremely a crazy set of challenges that we're living with. Everything from obvious the things we talked about COVID, but I mean, you know, the environmental destruction, and you know, like I have a 12-year-old daughter. You know, like what's life going to be like for her kids, kind of thing. I mean, but we can't get sucked into all of that. Like we can take actions to try to help with stuff, but like. You know, we don't want to. We don't want all the oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, because then we get blocked, right? And I truly believe
the stress, all that stress blocks your creativity. You can't let that get to you. You know,
right? I believe that everyone has the potential to express themselves artistically in one way or another, and that a lot of people just don't because they let all those things be in the way.
Right. It's like. There was this one-armed football player. He didn't let having, you know, not having both arms stop him. You know, there's a lot of, you know, like the Paralympics. There's a lot of examples of people just pushing through and being appreciative of what they do have. Stevie Wonder being blind, but he could still be a superstar that he is still today, a living legend. You know, he didn't care that he was blind. He's like, hey, I can still feel, I can still sing, I can still learn the piano. I don't need to see it, you know? So those things, you know, that's what brings a smile on my face. Like, wow, if he can do it, I can do it. You know, so I didn't think I would lose all this weight that I have and be as healthy as I am now. I thought, oh, I'm always just going to be in this body type. I was like, it's not until you change up here that will change the reality that you have now, you know?
Yeah, and you have to follow through
and
with the
you
action.
Think, right. Exactly.
Wow, this is so much fun talking to you, Aaron. This is so much fun.
Yeah, likewise, man. You're a cool guy. Cool guy.
When you're starting on a new project, right? Are you one of those type of people that pre-plans the project, or do you just kind of like go in the present moment where intuition leads you? Is it sort of a combination of the both? Like, you know, pick a project and give me some stuff about that.
Well, okay, so my recent one that I did last year, Funk Train, that was just kind of like going with my intuition, what it was like, and a little bit. So let me see, percentage wise, it was more like 75% just going with the flow, and the other 30 was planning it. So I kind of wrapped it around the whole album around my inspiration from the great Grover Washington Jr. and his funky style. And I liked the way he represented his hometown Philly, and that's how I kind of wrapped it around. And songs that I liked into things like that. So basically, yeah, just go with the flow and think like, okay, because I did that album in one night, all 6 songs one night, and I was like, that's good, you know. It's just kind of like spontaneous, you know. I kind of like that spontaneous feeling where things aren't so planned and orchestrated. I don't like that, you know. I just kind of go with my feeling, how I'm feeling that day, and yeah, that's how I do it.
Sometimes I like to just set up the camera and just like play and sing a song, whatever, or you know what I mean? Like not going in through the
Right.
DAW and putting the reverb on and, you know, cutting the noise in
Yes.
between the things out and all the things to make it perfect and professional, put a little bow on it. Sometimes it's cool to just sing a fucking song. You know what I mean?
Right. You're right. It's like, yeah, it's like I don't need, sometimes I don't need sheet music to read. I don't need all this. I just want to play. Let me just, you know, and that's why I love jazz so much, for example, and other improv type of genres, because, you know, I just don't like sticking to a sheet music or things already planned out. I kind of like creating my own story, my own type of um, say in it, you know, on the spot. And I like to do things differently all the time. You know, I don't want to be kind of like a Justin Bieber who does the same song all the time, the same way, you know. But, you know, it's just kind of like I want to do things different all the time. And I like that spontaneous feeling. Like going out with a girl, you just like, hey, let's just walk here. Oh, look, you know, we didn't plan that out. We just happened to go to this, you know, local carnival here, you know. Why it had to be okay, we're gonna go here, 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 and I don't know. I just don't like that. I don't like forcing things, you know. It's
Very
like
good.
either it's there or it's not. If it's not there, it's cool. There's other ways to get there, you know, or go to another place. Another place is not so bad.
Do you feel that you choose your passion, or does your passion choose you?
Like I said, I feel like passion's me, you know. I feel like I kind of just gravitated towards the saxophone, for example, way back, and it just came so natural to me, you know. I didn't expect every time I played, and you know, it's like people are like, whoa, you know, and it's like, wow, I guess something is like instilled in me, and you know, I was just never good at anything else. I would say it just came to me, you know, the passion just, "Ooh, here you go," and it's like saxophone was my primary instrument, and it just always just has this home feeling forever, you know. It's just like it just came to me. It was just me, you know. It's just that's music. Music is me, and I just don't fit in anything else. I don't fit in sports that much. I just never liked a coach yelling in my ear. I just prefer music, and that's
Definitely.
why I chose it after high school. I was like, yeah, this is what I want to do. Like, I don't want to be a weatherman. Believe it or not, yes, I did want to be a weatherman. I want to be a chef. I was just trying to do anything. It's just like, no, this doesn't feel like, none of it feels right. And that's why I believe the passion just came to me. It was just like, this is what you love. This is what you are meant to do. And I believe in destiny. This is my destiny. It's just like, hey, I didn't expect myself to even pick up any other instruments. It was just the flow of things. It literally just came. Oh, suddenly all this, okay. You know, so who knows? Maybe guitar will be next. Maybe I'll find my voice and sing like you do so well. I don't know. But all I'm saying, I'm loving what I'm doing right now. I also play the chromatic harmonica. That's fun, you know, a little Stevie here and there. And I like that kind of stuff. It's just like I don't want to force any instrument on me. Every instrument I have, I wanted to do, and it felt right. So
Cool. All right. Well, we're getting ready to
yeah.
move over to Patreon. Do you have a Patreon page?
No, I don't, but I certainly will get to it.
Cool. Well, you're going to have something to put up there because we're going to go ahead and film a couple of extra bonus questions for my wonderful patrons
Awesome.
and for your patrons of the future, Aaron. And before we finish up here, I just want to make sure that everybody that's watching knows how they can find you on social media, how they can check out your more of your saxophone playing and your other instrumental of songs and videos.
All right. Well, besides YouTube, which is called Aaron Qman, you can also find me on my Facebook page where I post not only my YouTube videos, but my Instagram content and other things like my concerts and events if you're around the area. So, and my Facebook page is Aaron Quarterman Jr. You can find me on there. And you can also follow me on Instagram, AQ_man, and also Twitter, where I post videos as well. And that is called Sax All Day Qman.
Sax
And
all day.
my links will definitely be in the description and things like that.
Excellent.
All right.
Excellent.
Oh yeah, and also I have a TikTok, and that's been a kind of a new exploration I've been doing. So you can follow me on TikTok, Aaron Qman.
Right. Excellent. So, everybody, make sure you check out Aaron Qman in all the different ways that he's that you want, and make sure that you subscribe to my channel and to Aaron's channel. Like this video for me, please, and we'll see you next month on Flowering Creativity.
Right.
Thank you very much for joining me on Matthew's Music Lesson Studio. Please share this video, like, and subscribe. And did you know that you can get online music lessons from me on Zoom? I recorded MP4 for you, and you can then review that lesson forever. You can have it so we can go over it, you can practice along with it, and then that way, no matter what, you can relax and enjoy the lesson. So please, MatthewsMusicLessonStudio.com. I'll see you guys next time on Matthew's Music Lesson Studio.